Hey, what's up guys? It's good to be talking DEADROP with you all again. I know it's been about a month since I've created a DEADROP video, but we had 7.5, update 7.5 that got introduced to DEADROP last week. And in that came Lua scripting, which we're going to get to that in a second. But before we do, I just want to thank Midnight Society for sending over this awesome t-shirt to celebrate High Octane Capture the Flag. It was my first DCM mode, and man, what an experience. What a privilege and honor to be a part of that. So big thanks to you guys. I appreciate it so much. All right, now into today's video, and you know, let me preface this video and say I am not a coder, I am not a scripter. I don't know how to do that stuff, but I am just smart enough to know what to copy and paste, and I've tested some things over the last couple of days that's allowed me to tweak some of the rules, and a lot of it's just by trial and error. So just, you know, let me ease your mind if you're overwhelmed at all the Lua scripting and the language and trying to figure out scripting. It's a lot. It is a lot, and I plan to know and learn a little bit over time, but right now I'm just kind of in the beginning stages. So if you're in the same boat as me, let's kind of walk through this together. Okay, one thing that I'm not going to do in this video is walk you through how to install Lua and how to install Visual Studio Code. In their Discord, in Midnight Society's Discord, they've already got a couple of great links that you can click. Like this link right here, it walks you through. It even has little videos and GIFs that you can actually watch, and they show you exactly how to set all of this stuff up. It's very cut and dry. Go ahead, if you haven't done that yet and you're about to watch this video, pause the video, go to that link, install everything, then come back. We're going to start right around here. So go watch that, come right back. Okay, welcome back. I assume that you've installed Lua, you've installed Visual Studio Code, and then all the extensions that they ask you to install as well. So now you'll notice on my desktop, I've got two documents here, or folders, I should say. This one we'll talk about here in a second, but this one is my test mode that I'm going to set up. So inside of this folder, I've got the VS Code with the launch JSON document inside. I've got user modes, which has nothing in there, and then user modules. Now, I could have used the test mode that they put inside of that document, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you just kind of a quicker way to skip that and get right into testing and all that stuff. And before we get into that, let me bring up Discord again. So this GitHub link, you want to click on that. And this green button up here, this code button, this is a drop down menu. It's got download zip. So here you'll be able to download all of the scripting code documents that they've got inside of here. So they've got modes that you can download. They've got modules you can download. All of that stuff, you want to download that and save it to your PC somewhere. Okay, so you've downloaded all of that. You've got the example modes folder. This is my test folder over here. I'm going to go into user modes. Now it's as easy as copy and paste, right? And I'm just going to change the name of this so that I'm not going to get confused. I'm just going to call it test. And we're set up. We're ready to go. We're ready to open up Visual Studio Code and open up DEADROP and start playing. It's that easy. All right, so now I've got Visual Studio Code open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open a folder. Now I've got all these different folders, so you can ignore all that. Go to your test folder, right? Double click on that. We are inside of that folder. Don't go into your user modes folder, just right inside that folder. Select folder. So now I am in my test folder. You can see I've got the launch document as well as my test document. Now, if you remember, what I did is I copied free-for-all. I think it was free-for-all snipers, and I just changed the name to test. So this is free-for-all snipers, right? Before we get into doing anything there, now we're ready to test, and we can run around the map and do whatever we want. All right, so now we're obviously inside of DEADROP. If you want to click VES and then up here at DCM, you've got some options here. All you need to do is click test and then launch your map. You can launch it on any of the maps, but I like to do my testing on Canyon. So we'll click launch map. And boom, we're in Canyon. So this is really cool, and I love that they introduced this because this is great for new players. So let's say you just downloaded DEADROP, or you've been around DEADROP for a while, but you really haven't gotten to play that much. This is a great system to be able to run around, understand how the mechanics work, the looting, the movement, ledge hanging, that sort of stuff, like how all of that works. This is a great way to do it because you're not losing any of your loot. There's no one else in the match, so you're not having to fight other people. You can just walk around. And again, this part, you don't even need Visual Studio. You don't need Lua or anything like that installed on your PC. You can actually just load up the game and just go into this by yourself and just, learn about how to, move around the map. Maybe you don't know the map that much and you just want to see where are the pinch points and those sorts of things. This is a great introduction for a new player who doesn't want to feel pressured to go into a match and get sweaty and worry about gear fear and all of that. You're able to loot in here. You can check out your inventory. It's a great system for a new player just to get introduced to the game. As I said, you can practice your ledge hanging. If maybe you want to see how the weapon shoots. I've seen a lot of people that are just a little too freaked out at the thought of going into a game with a bunch of sweaty players that have been playing this for, 2 years now. So this is great. Learn your weapons, learn the maps. This is awesome. But I imagine for the majority of you guys, a lot of you don't want to just sit here in a lobby by yourself. You want to actually practice and get in some gunfights and those sorts of things. We put that test folder together. It's all ready and shipped, ready to go. Let's switch back over to Visual Studio Code and I will show you how to start this game. All right, so now we're back in Visual Studio Code. What I want you to do is come down and hit the debug extension here. Hit that green button up at the top left, and what you'll have to do, you may see an error message down here. What you may have to do is come up here and make sure that you are directing it to the right mode, but we've got the right mode pulled up, and then the last thing to do is just to refresh right here. Boom, and just like that, we are in a match of free-for-all. Now you're gonna see there's no bots, but I've got my loadout. You can see the score up in the top left, the timer going, so it's like a game is set up, ready to go. But again, you're probably like, I want some bots, Joker. Give me some bots to shoot. Okay, super simple, right? I'm prefacing this. I know nothing about coding, right? But I've played with this enough to know that this right here, this number right here, it is saying that it is shipping 0 bots. Well, let's change that to, let's say, 5. So again, what you'll do is you'll change it right there. You'll come down, make sure you're in your debugger, hit that green button again, refresh your debugger. All right, let it load for a second, and bam, just like that, I am in a free-for-all match with bots. So everything works as it should. There's 5 bots in here, but I've got my loadout. They respawn. There are no other players in here. It's just me and 5 bots, right? So let me check the player feed here. Yeah, you can see all bots. I can check my loadout. Exactly how the rules of free-for-all plays. You can sit here and you can practice a few guns by yourself. Let me try to die to show you. Okay, so that bot killed me. It should refresh my loadout. I'll get a brand new one, just like how free-for-all works. All the mechanics are there. All the mechanics are there. So let's say, 5 bots just aren't enough. Well, let's go back over to Visual Studio Code. All right, we're back in Visual Studio Code. If you remember, this is the number that we changed for the bots. Let's say 5 isn't enough. Let's go with 20. So again, you're going to change that number to 20. Hit this green button, refresh. Give it a second here to load in, and boom, just like that, we should be in with 20 bots. So there are now 20 bots on this map. And again, you'll see, the map got bigger because if you know anything about Canyon, the more players that are on the map, you've got a small, a medium, and a large Canyon map. The more players, the bigger the map gets. So this is the big one, and you can tell there's fights going on all over the place. So I can sit here and I can fight 20 bots in a free-for-all match. Pretty cool, right? So this gives you some really good practice. It's a lot of fun. Again, a great way to just master the maps, you know, master the gunplay, give yourself a little practice before diving into VES. It's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, you know, again, I'm not a coder. You can go in and tweak these game modes a lot. I'm trying to learn as I go, but this is a great way. You don't have to know anything about Lua, and you just want to play around on the game. Boom, this is all you need to do. So we did that with free-for-all, right? Let's just, for the sake of trying, right? For the sake of the video, let's do a different game mode. So we're back here with these two folders again. So I've got my test folder here. Let's bring up the example modes. So I'm just going to go into the user modes folder, delete out what I just put together. Remember, I just copied and pasted. So let's say a TDM mode. So let's copy this. Let's paste it over here. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want to get confused. So let's just call it test. All right, let's bring up Visual Studio Code. We can X out of here, go back to the folder, and you know, I just want to refresh. Let's open the right folder, make sure we're good to go there. Select that folder. We are in this test folder. Boom. Now we are in TDM. This is Team Deathmatch here. So again, you've got that same bot setting here, right? So I'm not going to touch anything. Let's just go ahead and ship it and see what happens. So again, come down here, run the debugger, hit this, make sure you're all good to go. Give it a second to load up, and boom. We are now in a TDM match with a bunch of bots. And it looks like it loaded into the medium-sized map. So let's see if we can find our enemies here somewhere. Oh, here we go. So as you can see, all of the same stuff applies. It's, you know, like I'm playing a regular TDM match. All the rules, all the mechanics. I believe that it says 16 bots are in here, so I'm not going to count them up, but I assume that's 16 bots. So yeah, this is pretty cool, man. You can come in here, play all you want to with these different game modes. I haven't loaded all of them, but I assume that all of them kind of work the same. You can just come in here, play around, mess with the mechanics. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to practice maybe before a VES session or a DCM session with the community. In your own spare time, if nobody's on, you can load this up, have a little bit of fun in the game. Pretty sweet, man. And I'm not going to go into like anything super in depth, but if you want to mess around, feel free to change out some of these loadouts in some of these games. Just kind of read through, and you can almost, if you're not a coder like me, you can almost picture what you need to plug in, what you need to substitute out. You know, right here, if you wanted to change some of the guns, it's how I put together some of the changes to the shoddy snipers mode that they added in there. I actually took out the looting. I took out the death bags. So yeah, just feel free to go in there and kind of fool around. You know, I don't know anything about coding. I think I've made that pretty clear in this video, but I've done enough to where you can kind of play around and just have fun with it, you know. So anyway, that's all I want to go through. I just wanted to show a way for, you know, new players, if they want to get into a match and fool around and learn how to play DEADROP, you know, what the guns feel like, what the maps feel like, how the bots respond, how to loot, that sort of thing. It's both great for those players, but it's also good for veteran players, those of us who have been playing this for a couple years now. You're able to load into a match with bots, and maybe before a VES night or DCM night, you can warm up on your own time, you can practice on your own time. It's a lot of fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and then, you know, you can kind of play around with the Lua scripting and see what you can possibly do. And that's it, man. I just want to remind everybody there is a custom DCM night on Tuesday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you get all your modes put together and ship them over to the Discord. You can find out more in the events tab over there. And hey, if you like this video, a like and a sub goes a long way. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one.